Ryan Day raves about Julian Sayin's rare traits, the kind that translate to winning football.
You are Locked On Buckeyes, your daily podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in, Buckeye fans, to your Hump Day edition of Locked On Buckeyes, which is your daily Ohio State podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm your host, Jay Stevens, veteran sports talk host, delivering passionate coverage about your Buckeyes, and today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. During today's show, we will discuss two freshmen that lost their black stripes, as well as some possible changes coming to the offensive line. But first, Ryan Day has had a very special seat while watching the quarterback competition this year between Julian Sayin and Lincoln Kienholz. Both guys have made strides in the offseason from raising their level of play and becoming better players between the spring practices and to this point in fall camp. And while they have gotten better, Ryan Day sees something very, very special and very unique in Julian Sayin. The combination that he has of his quick release, the physical attributes, the quick twitch in the lower half of his body, as well as some in the upper half as well. Ryan Day is seeing this and saying, wow, this guy has something special. And that showed up recently when Ryan Day was talking about Julian Sayin and Julian Sayin's traits that make him so special as a thrower of the football will translate to winning football. Now, there's some leadership qualities that need to go into that as well, but if you just look at the physical attributes in Julian Sayin, the quarterback, he has the goods, he has the traits that will translate to winning football. Because if you think about Ohio State history of football, those special throwers of the ball, those guys do big things on the football field, and they do a lot of winning. From Troy Smith to Justin Fields, Dwayne Haskins, C.J. Stroud, and others, you can see guys out there that have some special traits about them that make them a physically gifted passer, which is what you need to be when in Ryan Day's offense. You need to be a gifted passer. Now, you may not be able to make all of the throws at times, but when you get to the regular season, you realize, hey, my arm is stronger. My accuracy is better. I'm able to read the defense a whole lot better now than I was 4 or 5 months ago. And that's where Julian Sayin is right now. The second-year player at Ohio State is getting praise from Ryan Day. It's not just praise from Ryan Day. It's also praise because he's earned it. He has earned every word that came out of Ryan Day's mouth when Ryan Day compared him to Dwayne Haskins, of all people. Not just a quarterback at Ohio State from 30 or 40 years ago, but to Dwayne Haskins. The second quarterback that Ryan Day coached at Ohio State that was a starting quarterback was number 7, who is unfortunately no longer with us. But that's high praise. Very, very high praise. Here's what Ryan Day had to say about Julian Sayin, quote, "There's a lot to like. He's very smart, makes quick decisions. The ball comes out of his hand. He's accurate. I think he's got good movement. Got good quickness. He's got twitch in his lower half, but he's also got twitch in his upper half as well." Those are things that are very unique because even as a second-year player, you might not think that a guy can be accurate, can have good movement, he has good quickness, but can also make quick decisions. That's very difficult to do because you may have all of the physical tools that you need, but to make quick decisions, that's hard. Very, very difficult. But then Ryan Day went on more, and this is where the Dwayne Haskins comparison came in. And I think Ryan Day knows what he's talking about when he brings up Haskins and enters his name in the conversation about Julian Sayin, quote, "Remember how quick the ball used to come out of Dwayne's hands? It's similar with Julian. And I think he's building more and more of a command in the field. Those are all reasons to like him. And he's improved. And he wants to be good. He knows what it takes," end quote. And the fact that he's talking about Dwayne Haskins, not the size, not the stature, but simply how quick the ball came out of Dwayne Haskins' hands, that's the same thing people said about Julian Sayin when he was in high school, when he was going around all the camps in the summer, going around and doing a lot of the big boy quarterback things you do in your sophomore, junior, and junior years. He is saying those things about Julian Sayin right now. And I'm not here to say he's going to I know what my opinion is about the quarterback battle. I realize that there's a lot that's happened between spring and fall, and that Kienholz, while he may not be the gifted passer and may not have all of the traits that Sayin has, there are things with leadership qualities in Kienholz's athleticism and his ability to make all the throws that make him a legit threat to Sayin in the QB battle. I do think, well, my original prediction was that Ohio State will make an announcement about the starting quarterback between August 10th through 14th. I still am going to hold true to that. The Buckeyes, I do believe, have a scrimmage this coming weekend, and sometimes Ryan Day will wait a little bit longer after that scrimmage to announce. I still think it's coming this weekend because you're not going into Notre Dame in year 2 or to Stroud week 1. You're going into a game against Texas week 1 with a new starting quarterback where neither quarterback has started a game, and when they've gotten on the field, it look like guys that are still trying to figure things out. While they're still trying to figure things out, Kienholz can hear this and hear how Day is hyping up his teammate, hyping up one of his boys, and a lot of that too. Oh man, I lost the battle. Man, he's talking about that guy and comparing him and saying he has something similar to Dwayne Haskins. Oh man, I might as well bow out and bow down and just hand over the keys that I want to have to Sayin, because this is his team. This is his offense. I should just do that, and I would push back on that and say, no, you shouldn't just do that, because Ryan Day is doing something very unique right now. He's getting a little bit deeper. He's digging into some of these quarterbacks. He's trying to figure out, hey, what makes this guy so unique? And he's not shying away about talking about certain things. It's very similar to Jeremiah Smith. If you ask Jeremiah Smith the question, he's going to answer the question. Now, he doesn't talk a lot, but if you get him in a spot where you can ask him a question, he is going to answer the question, and he's not going to shy away from the answer. Well, Ryan Day talks a whole lot more. He has to. He's a coach, not just a coach, but he's a coach at Ohio State, which demands a lot of talking, and you're going to be asked to do a lot of interviews. While you're asked to do a lot of interviews, you could filter through the thoughts you have to not say things like what he said about Julian Sayin. That's very unique, and I don't believe at all that Ohio State has had a quarterback like Lincoln Kienholz in Ryan Day's time at Ohio State. I don't think Joe Burrow, while Joe Burrow was a multi-sport athlete in high school, I don't think Joe Burrow was a Kienholz type of player. I think Joe Burrow's arm was more special than Kienholz's arm, at least as from what we have seen with our own eyes. Justin Fields was more athletic. Stroud was a better thrower. I think Kienholz is more athletic than Stroud, but I also don't know how athletic Stroud is because we never got to see it. Kyle McCord, I don't think there's a comparison between those two, and Will Howard is athletic, but I still think Kienholz is very unique. He's a very unique player. He doesn't have some of the same things that make Sayin special. But what makes Kienholz special is not just his arm, but it's his combination of his arm and his leg and the leadership that he has. I mean, Sayin has been on the record of talking about the leadership qualities that he has and that he needs to get better at those, which you do. You need to have a better command of the huddle, a better command of the locker room. You need to have a better understanding of not only the offense, but how to respond with your teammates with you in some very intense situations. He's figuring that out. He's going to get better. And when Ryan Day compared Sayin or discussed and said, hey, Sayin has a similar trait to Haskins, that's high praise. Now, I'm not saying that Sayin's the only quarterback that has a quick release, but his quick release and how quickly he gets the ball out reminded Ryan Day of Dwayne Haskins and the special season Haskins had as QB1 for the Buckeyes in 2018. This year should be special, and the O-line will be better early in the year than it is in most years, but there might be a possible shakeup that will help the Buckeyes offensive line be everything it can be this season. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever wish managing your money felt easier? With Monarch Money, it can. Whether you're growing your savings or planning a big purchase, Monarch puts you in the driver's seat. It's like having your own personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money is more than a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So in addition to managing your money, you're also building wealth. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONCollege at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONCollege for half off your first year. Thank you all for tapping into Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. Ohio State's offensive line is expected to be a well-oiled machine, or as well-oiled of a machine as it could be in Week 1 against Texas. While the Buckeyes did lose multiple players to the National Football League, the experience some of those guys got last year in the latter half of the season, especially in the CFP, those are going to help Ohio State's offensive line be solid and be a strength against Texas. While it can be a strength against Texas, there might be a possible shakeup that we might be seeing from on the offensive line, as Ryan Day mentioned that Austin Siereveld has been getting some look and some reps at left tackle. And unlike Caleb Downs playing the nickel like we discussed last week, I think there's something to this. I don't think Ryan Day would have done this on the first 3 days of fall camp. You know, the media and the fans are going to be there because it's going to get a lot of attention and it's going to be going all around. But I think him doing it when the media is not there, and he could have chosen to not discuss it as well. Ryan Day let this come out of his mouth, but Ryan Day could have just held it to himself and try to figure out how to tiptoe around certain questions, or really when a question's asked about a different player, Ryan Day does not have to answer it and discuss someone else. He doesn't have to, but he did at that time. Ryan Day doing this and discussing on, practice number 5, that Sierevald's been getting some practice at left tackle. I think there's something to it. I also think that because Austin Siereveld was an Iron Buckeye, it has been someone that's been getting a lot of attention all offseason long. Back in the spring, Ryan Day made it very clear that Siereveld's one of the best offensive linemen that Ohio State has right now. It's simply finding a spot for him to play. We know it's not going to be center. That's Carson Hinsman. Potentially Luke Montgomery could play center, but that's his role. He's got that locked down. Siereveld could be right guard, could be right tackle. There was never really a thought that he could be left tackle, but I think it can happen. Now, here's the interesting thing. If that means he's potentially going to left tackle, could Ethan Ananwa go to right tackle? Yes, but he's also getting some attention at guard. Oh, here we go again. Now, I don't have the height and weights of players right in front of me, but I say here we go again because I had a quick feeling of deja vu, because Ethan Ananwa is not a guard size at all. The length, the size, the mass, the way he is built to be a tackle. He's not built to be a guard. There's a certain body type, not even so much a weight, because you can get a 320-pound guard and a 320-pound tackle, and they might have their body might be constructed differently, and that is why they are the same weight but play different positions. And so I say deja vu because I went back, was it 2021? It's either 2021 or 2022. I forget the exact year, but where Ohio State said, hey, how about we play 4 tackles and a center? I think it was 2022. And I'm sitting here thinking in that moment, maybe I forget the exact year. I'm going to stop discussing that because I don't know. But Ohio State decided to do a Nicholas Petit-Frere, a Thayer Munford, a Paris Johnson Jr., and a DeJuan Jones, and those were the guys that were the starting offensive line. And as I'm thinking about this right now, in the moment, it sounded great. Oh, man, y'all are beefy. You got all that mass on the field. You're going to be able to overpower guys. What are you going to be missing? Sometimes tackles aren't flexible enough and aren't able to get low enough to play guard. Well, they can get low enough, but they don't have the flexibility. They don't have the brute force and the brute strength to play guard. It's a whole lot different. Maybe get a 3-tech right there, 1-tech right there is ready to just fight and scratch and claw to get to where he needs to go. Man, that's difficult. But I don't think Ethan Ananwa getting reps at guard is a sign that he's going to play guard. You're trying to figure out somebody's secondary position. Well, somebody's secondary position might simply be the tackle on the opposite side of the line. That is your secondary position. Where for Siereveld, his primary position is tackle. Now, you know that one for sure. Is his primary left tackle or right tackle? They're trying to figure that out. But you know, whichever one is his primary position, his secondary position is going to be the opposite one at that same spot. So left tackle's primary, right tackle secondary, or vice versa. That's how it's going to be for Austin Siereveld. He can also play guard, but I still think his best position right now for this team is at tackle for the team. I get what Ryan Day's doing. I understand why Siereveld going to left tackle might be the thing, especially because he was an Iron Buckeye. If he wasn't an Iron Buckeye, I probably would not be on this show right now reacting to some of the things that Ryan Day said in the presser and saying, oh, yeah, no, he's going to go to the other side because, well, he just has the goods. He may have already had the goods, but you got to put that work in the offseason. You being an Iron Buckeye is huge. It speaks volumes about you as a player, as a person, the integrity, the resolve, the perseverance. Yeah, it says a lot about you as an individual. And so that is one of the main reasons. I also wonder if Siereveld is better on the left side of the line versus the right. Because there were times last year you saw Siereveld on the left side of the line where his play was better on the left versus the right. There are also times you saw his play being better on the right versus the left. Why do I say that? Because your hand placement, your feet, your hips, your shoulders, things are different. And maybe you're better with your right foot forward versus your left. Maybe you're better with your hand placement in the left tackle spot versus the right. Maybe your brain thinks in a different way going from the left side to the right. These are all things that I believe Ryan Day and the coaches have to think about. Because if you don't, if you are a person where you're saying, he can do it, he'll figure it out. He's an Iron Buckeye. He has what it takes up here to figure it out. If you have that mindset, I think that's poor analysis and poor coaching. Yes, it is a form of analysis when you're saying, oh, he did it on one side, he can do it on another. That is, in the truest sense, somewhat of analysis, but what are you analyzing? You're analyzing his play and you're saying, well, he did it on the right side for so long, he could do it on the left. Okay. Cool. He might be able to. He's playing tackle. You know what your best five are. And I'm only saying best five. That's an Ohio State term where you try to find the best five guys to start. I think you got to find the right five, not the best five. Because your best five offensive linemen might not fit the structure of an offensive line. Let's say you have two guys that are in your top five and on the offensive line, but they're both centers. And one guy isn't better at right guard or left guard, or one guy can play the other. Well, what if both guys are centers and they can't figure out how to play guard? Well, then you got to figure it out. Do you play your best five or your right five? And I believe Siereveld is a part of the right five. I think the right five for Ohio State this year are Ethan Ananwa, Luke Montgomery. Those are your left tackles and right and left guards, respectively. Center Carson Hesman, right guard Tego Shabola, right tackle Austin Siereveld. Those are not only the best five, those are your right five in those spots. The only thing I think would change or could change is Siereveld going to left and Ananwa going to right. That's it. Not right guard for Ananwa, right tackle. Now, there's an interesting thing here that I don't think has been talked about recently. I know it hasn't been on this show. Maybe a week or two ago, Tego Shabola's name came up in regards to him potentially playing tackle. I know they're going to have him play guard once again. Is he lengthy enough to play tackle? Probably. Do we know if he's getting reps at tackle? We don't know. If he is, now I'm not saying this is going to happen now because I don't think Shabola is going to go to the NFL after this year. It's possible that in 2026, Shabola goes to the tackle spot versus the guard. However, if Ryan Day wants to talk about primary and secondary positions, it's possible that Shabola's secondary position is guard and his primary position should be tackle. But for this team, what it should be is different. For this team, primary is guard, secondary is tackle. I want to know how many reps he gets at his secondary position because that eventually might become his primary. Because I do think Shabola on the edge, not having to deal with the the muck and the mire of being a guard, might be better for him. What's also better for some people is losing their black stripes. And two Buckeyes lost their black stripes on day 5 of fall. Thank you all for tapping Locked on Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. There are guys out there that are losing their black stripes. And let me tell you, I am so excited when we get the news that not one, but two Buckeye players during day 5 of fall camp have lost their black stripes. It's one of those traditions that Urban Meyer started, and then Ryan Day continued it, where you got your Buckeye offer, you got your Buckeye commitment accepted by the coaches, and you are verbally committed to being an Ohio State football player. Then you sign the national letter of intent. You're a Buckeye. You get on campus. You get enrolled in your classes. Everything is going great. But then you get on that field and you realize all of that stuff were basically prerequisites to get to day 1 of practice. That's all that was. And while those are prereqs, what you're going to find is those prereqs give you the opportunity to be a Buckeye. And once you become officially a Buckeye, when you lose your black stripe and when you have proven to everybody on the field and even in them workouts, you have what it takes to be a Buckeye. And there were two players that recently lost their black stripes. They're both freshmen. One is tight end Nate Roberts. The other is Raleigh Pedagon. Pedagon, to me, is a guy that's going to have a better opportunity to get on the field a little bit quicker than Nate Roberts. I mean, the tight end room is absolutely full of really good players. Will Kazmarek and Max Clear, I believe, are done after the season. But after that, maybe Nate Roberts jumps somebody or somebody above him transfers out. And he is a guy that's going to be really, really good. But let's stay with Nate Roberts because this young man's really, really talented, did some good things in high school that helped him get to Ohio State, allowed him to be the number 10 tight end in the entire class. And I think he's going to be continuing the transition for Ohio State to get more athletic tight ends, guys that are really good route runners and can catch the ball all over the place. I believe Nate Roberts is going to help Ohio State with that very thing. Sitting at about 6'5", 240 pounds. He's not like your traditional, maybe split out wide tight end that is 220, 225, and needs to bulk up 20 pounds or 30 pounds, really 30 pounds to get on the field. While Nate Roberts is 240, he might play at 250. Only gaining 10 pounds. Figuring out how to continue what you did in high school to translate to college football, that is great. He this past year, senior year of high school, had 52 catches, 978 yards, and 14 touchdowns. That's a type of threat that Coach Key can work with, and that he will help this young man be the best he can be. He's behind currently right now, I believe the top 4 in the room: Max Clare, Will Kazmarek, Jelani Thurman, and Bennett Christian. Not in that order. I think Bennett Christian will be the third tight end this year over Jelani Thurman because I think Bennett Christian is more of your well-rounded, all-around tight end that Ryan Day wants. It's not saying Jelani Thurman can't be that. I think Jelani Thurman is still trying to figure it out. He can make some really good catches, but I still think that he hasn't put it all together to prove to Ryan Day he has what it takes. Nate Roberts is also the second tight end to lose his black stripe this year, the first being Max Clare, who lost his during spring practice on March 31st. Raleigh Pedagon, this young man is a gamer. This man is a fast twitch. I was thinking about 6'2", 220 pounds. The Texas linebacker is a dog. And if you saw the picture circulating around the Ohio State socials, you saw that Raleigh Pedagon is standing next to Sonny Styles, Arval Reese, and Peyton Pierce. And the one thing that sticks out about Raleigh Pedagon is he doesn't look like he's an incoming freshman. He is physically built in a way that is different. And I used to come on this show all the time and say, why do the linebackers and DNs down in the South look different than Ohio State? So I'm not saying that the way they play was different, which it was, but physically, the way they were physically constructed was different. They were faster. They were sharper. They had greater instincts. They were stronger. I mean, the muscles were popping out of their pores, man. Raleigh Pedagon has that already. And I think you're going to see him bulk up like all the other guys do. He's going to bulk up in the right way, and he is going to be a lot of fun to watch. Here's Raleigh Pedagon on his game. This is what he said back in the spring. Quote, I think I can do a little bit of everything. I can cover. I can rush a passer. I can play the run too. I think those are all my strengths, but I think my speed plays a factor, which is true. You turn on the film and you can see his quick twitch. Let's keep that trend going from the first segment, talking about Ryan Day praising Julian Sayin. I think his quick twitch and his instincts are off the charts, and it's one that James Laurinaitis is going to tap into and try to make even better. These are just two of the guys that lost their black stripes this year in the offseason. They are the first two players to lose their black stripes during fall camp. The last players to lose their black stripes, they all came April 8th, between March 29th and April 8th. Those players, redshirt freshman Miles Lockhart, redshirt freshman Dominic Kirks, redshirt freshman Simon Lawrence, redshirt freshman Eric Mensah. Quincy Porter was the first true freshman to lose his black stripe this offseason. He lost his on April the 5th. And last but not least, Ethan Ananwa, the transfer from Rice, lost his on April the 8th. I do believe these two guys have a clear path to get on the field in year two. And I'm not simply saying that to fill space. Let's just say what is possible can happen. Sonny Styles has gone to the NFL after 2025. And what if Arvell Reese goes too? If Arvell Reese is gone, there is a path to where you can get a Peyton Pierce. Is it Garrett Stover? Is it Pettiohn? Is it TJ Alford? Who is it? Or do they split time and say, well, since I can't be an off-ball linebacker right now, how about I go to the edge and rush the passer to get some more reps and to make myself a more valuable asset to the team and to raise my own draft stock before I'm even draft eligible? Those are things that are possible. So I do think for Ohio State right now, getting the black stripe alerts right now is going to add some buzz and add some attention, and it's going to raise the bar for true freshmen that want to lose a black stripe. I say want to. I believe everybody wants to lose a black stripe. I got a couple of guys that I think could be the next players at Ohio State to lose their black stripes, and this will be done over the next few days. I'll give it 3 days. What is this, Wednesday? Saturday. Well, of course, a weekend's going to happen. We're going to have a big practice, and a lot more guys will lose theirs in the practice. Let's go till Saturday. I want to say that these guys will lose their black stripes. Jarquez Carter, Carter Lowe, Zion Grady, Epi Centinelli, and let's stop there. Now, let's go Bo. Let's go Bo Jackson. Let's go Bo Jackson. The other ones are already on my mind. I think it's going to happen anyway, but Bo Jackson is in that list. I believe those are the guys that'll lose their black stripes this weekend, no later than this weekend, let's say by Saturday. Might not be announced till Sunday. Let's go Sunday just to give myself a buffer just in case they happen one day, they take some time to rest, and don't announce it until the very next day. Ohio State's team is very comfortable right now. The way that they're built, from Julian Sayin and his rare traits, make him a very valuable asset for Ohio State, and then also to Austin Siereveld, who can be a Swiss Army knife. He can literally play 4 of the 5 O-line positions this year. I don't think he's going to, but he is a man that can do it. I think Ethan Ananwa ain't going to play guard. Ain't going to play it at all. You want to figure out if a guy can play a different position versus playing inside versus outside or vice versa. You want to figure that out. Ryan Day, I'm glad you made the comments. I know maybe you would like to not say take it back as far as it being wrong, but maybe you want to say, well, I know I said that, but this is what's going to happen. I'm very glad that Ohio State has these guys on the team this year, because moving forward for Ohio State, they got to tighten up. Ryan Day mentioned in his presser, we're going to close up shop with this. Ryan Day mentioned in his presser, while speaking about the quarterbacks, that consistency is key for those guys. The more consistent player right now is going to win the job. Well, that's the same thing that goes for everybody on the team, coaches as well. You got to be more consistent in every area. Get in water, get it quick, don't waste any time. Run from station to station. Go all out during team periods. Go all out in every drill. Try your best to simulate on-field, in-game experiences because you need to. If you don't do that now, you're going to find yourselves in a few weeks realize, well, we didn't practice this. They're not ready for that. Why? Well, because I thought we could go ahead and practice something different and we'll be just fine. No, you can't. You got to be consistent. Coaches being consistent, support staff being consistent, players being consistent. You have to be consistent. There is a scenario where Ohio State could be consistent now, allow that to translate and be a big part of their game plan and their execution against Texas, where they beat the Longhorns by double digits. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it is possible. Thank you all for tapping Locked On Buckeyes and making this show your first listen of the day. For your second listen, check out Locked On College Football, because my guy Spencer McLaughlin is going to get you up to speed with everything going on in college football ahead of the big-time Week 0 matchups. You can follow Locked On College Football and Locked On Buckeyes on the YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. You can follow me on any social media platform at jstevens07. Send every email to jstevens317@gmail.com. Let's have some Locked On Buckeyes on a hump day. We'll see you next time.